The coffin began to shake, and the men threw it away. The four muscular men carrying Omoye to her final resting place. Then it happened. A violent shaking that sent the coffin lurching left and right. The men's faces drained of color as they heard it. A muffled pounding from within, desperate and alive. "Aye!" one man screamed, dropping his corner. The coffin crashed to the earth with a sickening thud. The sound galvanized the others into action. They bolted like hunted animals, their feet thundering across the dusty ground, leaving the coffin abandoned before the gaping grave. Within seconds, the entire funeral procession dissolved into chaos. The villagers shrieked and scattered, their feet raising clouds of red earth as they fled toward the village, convinced they had witnessed something unholy. From within the coffin came a desperate gasp. The lid creaked open, and pale fingers emerged, grasping at the edges. Omoye's eyes, wide with confusion and terror, appeared first, then her head. She gasped for air like someone pulled from drowning waters. Her body was weak, her limbs unresponsive. Whatever force had brought her back had left her hollow and fragile. "Sister," a voice cut through her fog of panic. Obum, her brother, stood frozen between two trees, his fear warring with his love. While the others disappeared over the hill, he swallowed his terror and ran back. He reached the coffin and pulled his sister free, cradling her limp body in his arms. She collapsed against him, unable to support her own weight, tears streaming down her face as reality crashed over her. He carried her home through the whispered accusations and pointed fingers. The village erupted into fear and superstition. When Omoye attempted to walk to the market, people fled, screaming that she was a walking dead, a spirit, a curse upon the land. Doors slammed. Children were pulled inside. Hunters spoke of exorcisms. Then Chidi came. Humble, steady Chidi, who saw beyond the fear. While others crossed the street to avoid her, he approached with calm eyes and an open heart. He saw a woman, not a phantom. He offered his hand, then his name, then his future. When villagers warned him he was marrying a spirit, Chidi simply smiled and replied, "She is human, that is enough." He paid the bride price in full. Love, he believed, could resurrect more than bodies, it could restore souls. The pregnant ghost, Omoye, who stood each night beside her grave with hands pressed to the belly. She had refused to grow old since she woke inside her own coffin. 5 months had passed since Chidi confirmed she carried his child, yet her body remained unchanged. No swelling feet, no morning sickness, no aching back, none of the burdens other women in the village bore with quiet endurance. Her skin glowed with the same youthful radiance it had possessed on the day she woke gasping for air inside her own coffin. The villagers whispered behind cupped hands. They had warned Chidi against marrying the girl who had returned from death's embrace, but his love had proven stronger than their superstitions. Now, as Omoye's pregnancy progressed without the usual trials, the whispers grew louder. When her labor came, it lasted mere hours. She delivered a healthy son with barely a grimace, rising from the birthing mat as though she had simply taken an afternoon rest. The years that followed revealed the true curse of her resurrection. Chidi's hair silvered at the temples, then whitened completely. Lines carved themselves into his weathered face, mapping decades of laughter and worry. Their children grew from infants to toddlers to young adults, each passing season marking them with time's inevitable touch. But Omoye remained frozen in the bloom of her 23rd year. Her hands, which should have grown gnarled from years of labor, stayed soft and smooth. Her face, which should have creased with age and wisdom, remained unlined. While Chidi's back bent beneath the weight of years, Omoye stood straight as a young palm tree. Forever young ghost, they called her in the marketplace, their voices carrying equal parts wonder and fear. Desperate for answers, Omoye sought the village's chief priest. The old man studied her with knowing eyes, smoke from his sacred herbs curling between them. His words fell like stones into still water. "You have tasted both death and life, daughter. Now you walk the path between worlds, neither fully claimed by one nor released by the other. This is your fate. You will not age, you will not sicken. Time has lost its hold on you. Omoye returned home to find Chidi dozing in the evening sun, his lined face peaceful in sleep. She knelt beside him, her eternally young hand covering his weathered one. Love, it seemed, was the only force powerful enough to bridge the chasm between the ageless and the aging.